Guys, I'm angry. I am beyond pissed. Not about the show. I got my qualms about it, and I'll get to it. I'm trying not to make it over 30 minutes. I got a rant. Understand. As you know, I rarely talk about my setup and my camera here, because very rarely do I have an issue. But on and off, I would have a very bad issue with my mic. You can hear my voice right now. But I'm using a Zoom H1N. Hang on a minute. Cover your ears. I'm warning you now. Cover. Take your headphones off. This lovely thing here. Testing. You can hear it. Don't normally do that, as you know. I rarely do that. That's disturbing to anyone who's hearing it, and it don't make me feel good either. But at this moment, I got a rant. I made my impact video. That's the reason why it's uploaded late. 33 minutes of impact talk. No problem. But there was no sound. Video only. So I don't know. Understand, with this setup here, there's no way to know the battery's dead. It doesn't have an indicator that flips forward like this camera I'm using to see the battery power go down or up. Not until after I finish the video and put it into my system, so my software for editing it and putting in images, do I even know if there's sound or not. And this time, dead. No sound in the very beginning of the video. The minute I'm starting to edit, I'm going, why no? I had to, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt your impact viewing, but I had to say this. Now, as you see from the title, things are different, but here you go. It's in my face. All the images I took of how bad the camera work worked, and it was 4 minutes of beautiful ranting on impact, saying clearly why, if you just revamped and changed certain things in the show, which is obvious, it was a different show, a different feel. It was actually nice. And yes, there were issues, but it was different. Why can you not get the camera work right? Why? This is beyond stupid. I believe I have one shot where you see one cameraman having the camera at his waist for no reason. None. Now, I understand there's cameras that are set up for different broadcasts from different networks, but we're still talking about what's being shown on Access TV, and I cannot understand for the life of me why in the blue hell do they continually do this. This is not what people at home want. Why can WWE get the camera work right? Or Impact Wrestling seems to copy them, but they don't copy their camera work. Why can AEW get the camera work right, but they take maybe aspects of AEW on and off, and they can't get it right when it comes to the camera? And you cannot say they don't have the same budget. It's not the point of budget. It's not that hard to do this. Look, I'm a guy in one of his rooms filming on an old Canon M6. Not M6 Mark II. An M6. And even I understand, if you need to show what's going on, zoom back. Why do they constantly keep believing that you need to zoom in to make it more dramatic when people are not seeing their content? One of the things I'm definitely sure they're not getting anything or any traction with people watching them is they can't see it. I'm just saying. Let's move on. Okay, 6-man match. Now, wait. Before we get started, no video intro of Impact's theme music. None of it. They talked about Rebellion and went straight to the 6-man match, which was great. When you see Bayley, Trey, and Gretchen, it was fine. Trey didn't work very well with Bayley and Gretchen, and they did focus on Trey. And at the end, you got You did get Chris Sabin beating him, but does that mean he's getting a title shot? Honestly, I'd rather have seen Jonathan Gresham win. As I said in my original video, which still makes me angry, Jonathan would make a great X Division champion, move Trey from X Division to the main title. They need more people in the main title, and Trey's ready. He is ready, guys. If you don't believe he's ready, look at the content he's produced as a heel. His persona changed, and his ring style, even though it stayed mostly the same, feels more substantial. He's ready. Flat out. And you can do Speedball Mike Bailey and Gresham working in a program for the title. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying. Now, we get Alicia versus Terrorizing. The spiritual successor for Paul Levesque's original character, when the wonderful Killer Kowalski made it very clear you need a name. I believe it was Killer Kowalski. I'm going to give you the name Terra Rising. But it was supposed to be Terrorizing. But they broke it into two words. Terra Rising. And now the spiritual successor to Triple H is this young, beautiful woman that I wouldn't mind saying, hey, will you marry me? But anyway, she gets beaten up and beaten by Alicia Edwards. Hear me out. I know you're going to say, really? Yes, hear me out. Just give me a sec. Let me give it to you like this. Alicia as a face was getting nowhere. Nothing. She had some interest when she was working as a swinger girl in in his casino. It was interesting. At least they showed something interesting from her, but she never got anywhere as a face. But now that she's working with a husband as a heel to a certain extent, at least she feels different. Is her ring work the same? Yes. But does not mean she's not different. Now, if you don't feel anything from her right now, I think right now she needs time to work out how she wants to be a heel, more than how she is acting as a heel in the ring. Now, here's where it gets very confusing for me. You get Jody Threat. I believe her name is Threat. And she's a face. Why? When she came out and beat Terrorizing the week before last, or last week, I think it was the week before last, she beat her, and she acted and looked like a heel. Now, all of a sudden, she's a face, helping out Terrorizing, trying to defend her against Alicia Edwards. Really? Really? You got Terrorizing as a face. Maybe she'll stay there for a little while. Maybe she'll sign with Impact. She can be a good guy, but you're actually making someone who looks legitimate like a Judy Threat. And you're making her a face, which makes no sense. If it was going to be like this, you might as well have left Alicia Edwards as a face and made Judy a heel, because she'll probably be better at a heel than Alicia would. But since she's working with a husband, I think that would have been better. I'm just saying. Guys, tell me below. Next, we're going to talk about Deonna Purrazzo, and I'm going to make this very quick. Her vid pack looked good because it was in black and white. She spoke as she normally spoke, and is well done. But being in black and white actually helped the vid pack immensely. I loved it. Now, here's something not many people are going to like, but I got to mention it. You know who you are, you know who you are, my friend. Just making sure it's on. I'm upset now. I'm sorry I tapped it, but I'm making sure it's on. But you know who you are, my friend. You know who you are. And literally, you got your wish. Johnny Swinger and Ziggy Dice show up. Johnny Swinger is still having Ziggy Dice in his corner, and he made it very clear to the director of Authority that he has a new guy for Swinger to face so he can go to 50 wins and get the championship title match. He says, and I quote, "You don't have to worry about him getting paid. I'll pay him. You don't have to worry about him getting a flight. I will pay for the flight. Just let him appear." And he says, fine. What do you think? It might be Ziggy Dice. Finally, faking being somebody new. This is my hope. And I know people are going to say, oh, no, not him. And others, like my friend, you know who you are. I believe your name is Stefan. I know you love Ziggy. I know you love Swinger even more than Ziggy. And I know everyone does not agree with you. I don't mind Ziggy Dice or Johnny Swinger. I don't. You need to have comedy in pro wrestling, whether you like it or not. If you want only pure pro wrestling, watch amateur wrestling or try to look at ROH. Oh, wait, you can't. ROH doesn't exist. ROH AEW does. Why? They didn't reach the entire audience that needed to be reached. You can say whatever you want about ROH, how great it was, but it went out of business. Not because of the pandemic, it's because they were ready to go out of business anyway. They just couldn't afford it. Now, my hope, if they do this, would be for Ziggy Dice to fake dress as a wrestler and let Swinger win. And then they do this for a couple of times until the director of Authority, Santino Marella, catches him and stops it. But at least it will be something. You will have to see Ziggy Dice change his look multiple times to try and fake that it's new opponents. Because as it stands, if they keep doing it like this, you're never going to get anywhere. I'm just saying. Let's move on. Okay, we get Moose versus Uemura. Now, I spoke about it before. Gunther and Uemura, I wouldn't mind seeing them as a tag team. And particularly, I want to see Gunther get a new gimmick. He worked with Raj. He worked with Shira. At least they made him go against the grain when it comes to stereotypes in wrestling. Because he went up against two of his own countrymen to prove that he was more better than them. Now, put him on another stage. Put him somewhere. Yes, if you got to use part of his old gimmick as an Indian wrestler, fine. Give him something extra to go with it. Like Uemura, he's a Japanese wrestler, but give him something and elevate him. Don't just make him a stereotype like they've been doing in Impact Wrestling, AEW, and WWE. I'm sorry, that's what they've been doing. And they don't do it right either. And I gotta say this, Uemura looked really good going against Moose. I am saying it right now. He looked very good. He just now needs to work on how his character can be developed. He needs to expand beyond what he was taught in New Japan Pro Wrestling. In Europe and America, it's a little bit different. You need to be willing to adapt. Just like when it comes to Gunther, you need to be willing to adapt. Not just do the work in the ring. You need to sell yourself. I'm just saying. Now, Kaz versus Good Hands. There is no Bully Ray. And I think it's mostly due to the fact there's no Tommy Dreamer. If you don't know, hang on. If you do not know, Tommy is taking time off because of his mom. If you did not see Rebellion, he said during an interview when he was with Team Dreamer that his mother had a brain bleed. Now, it upset me multiple times just trying to say this because I met people who had to go through sicknesses and stuff like that, and it messes with my anxiety. But as I said before in the previous videos, see, I'm getting upset. You don't let things control you. You fight it. I may not be able to fight it very well, but I fight my anxiety. So I'm going to say what I know I need to say. And seeing that Tommy made it very clear that his mother was sick before she had the brain bleed, then she came in and out of sickness. He got a chance to say how he felt about her. And even though Impact told him, look, you don't need to be here. And he says, I'm going to be here, but then afterward I'm going. Shows how devoted he was. Hell, Killer Kelly was crying. That's how upset she was. Everybody that was in this group, Kaz, Uemura, when it came to, who else was there? I can't remember who else. I'm kind of blanking. There was somebody else there. But pretty much, everybody was upset because they knew how upset Tommy was. But Tommy did what he felt was right, and now he's probably here in New York if his mom's here. And he's watching over and taking care of her or whatever. Hopefully she does recover, but you never know. But without him there, there's no Bully Ray. At least until they decide what to do with him. Because my hope is with Nick Aldis, Mickie James, and Bully Ray. Like I wanted months ago. But let's get to Nick Aldis. He gets a, I believe I got it in my face, kind of like a wallpaper or video. His theme music and his intro is now been shown. And I liked it. They don't normally show it like that. They just bring you in to talk. And Jimmy Jacob was the one who did the interview, not Gia, which is surprising. Usually Gia does everyone. This time it was Jimmy. And I want to make this clear. I know there are people who do not like Nick Aldis. I understand. But we're getting a different, compared to the Magnus who left, what, in 2016 or 17? I think 16 to 17 when he left. And he's not the same person. He had nearly a 1,200-day reign in NWA. That means something. Whether you like it or not, he helped book most of NWA before it got changed by Billy Corgan. Heavily. Because it was obvious. Even I did. Remember, guys, I did a series on this. I did reviews on NWA before the change happened. And I noticed something had changed. I knew the product changed. And then when it came out that Nick was no longer helping in booking everything in creative, you could see the difference. So, let's see what he can do here in Impact before we say he's crap. But I'm not going to be like someone who's going to kiss his ass. If he screws up, I'm going to tell you. There, let's move on. We get Gene versus Joe Henry. Shelton Gene. What happened to his collarbone, guys? If you didn't notice, I believe his right collarbone, it was like this far off his body. Did he get hurt, or was it like that from the beginning? I don't remember from the last time I saw him, because as far as I know, there was nothing there. And now there's a huge lump there. I don't know. It looked weird. That's just me. You guys, some below. He did an okay match, but admittedly, Gene was a bit sloppy. But it wasn't that bad, but it was sloppy. I don't think him and Joe Henry ever worked together, so it was obvious. Joe Henry won, but no one came out to say, hey, you're done. I'm gonna be the next person. No one came out. So it's not Moose coming out because he was working with Brian Myers, and it seems like the feud of that is over. I don't know who's next. Now, let's see, anything else? The final part, and that is the change in the guard segment. It was underwhelming. One, it was underwhelming because, one, you got him with 6 men who had their arms like this, holding their arms, walking up steps and standing out there, since they were dressed in military garb, they didn't go out with their arms like this and just like that. Why didn't they do that? He's a former military soldier. You could have said, attention! Why not? Walk out there like they're military officers. If they're mercs, in other words, mercenaries, they used to be soldiers, and as long as he pays this, they're going to do whatever he wants. And if he wants, I forgot, what is he, a former army? He could have had them come out like this and act like their army. What was the problem of them not doing it like this and like this? Why? It looked stupid. And then they give him streamers in the celebration. 9 or 10 streamers. What the hell was that? That was underwhelming. Now, I know people are going to say, well, Scott didn't like him, so there was almost no streamers. Then he should have mentioned it. He should have mentioned it. Sorry, guys. Anybody else would have gotten good amount of streamers, bad guy or good guy. He deserved more than that. Or it should have just been left out because it looked totally underwhelming. It was garbage. I don't agree with it. But the talk he did was perfectly fine. And he called out Scott because he didn't get Josh. The crowd wanted Josh. He didn't get Josh. Now he was willing to do an open challenge in Canada, but he will only allow Canadians. He calls out Scott. Scott comes out. Scott is angry that he's insulting his people, and he's insulted Josh, and he's insulting him. And the thing I'm hoping for, because let's make it clear, he made the arrangement Under Siege with PCO. We already know this. The attack happened. PCO whooped ass. Fine. But this is what I'm hoping for me personally. seeing Scott D'Amore get in the ring to work with Macklin. It's not the point that he'll win. I don't expect Scott to win. But after getting beaten up by Bully Ray, then insulted by Bully Ray, disrespected by Bully Ray, and then Macklin attacking him, why not? He finally goes, I'm done. You're fucking with me enough. I'm going to come at you. Fine. And that's what I wanted. Not for the championship, but just a match showing that Scott D'Amore is done. And making it even more interesting is for Giselle Shaw. I'm not expecting her to turn face, but we know. We've seen Impact Diaries. I've seen Giselle Shaw. She's in love with the man. She's with him right now. That's his woman. Whether you like it or not, that's his woman. Me, I don't care. They're fine. They're happy together. I'm glad. But let's make it mean something for her. That if he gets his ass completely decimated and she comes out and looks at the man who decimated her hubby, you can use that to go for the quintessential diva, saying that she does a storyline where she sees her man so hurt, she loses her freaking mind. She no longer is a quintessential diva. She becomes a freaking Black Widow because her man has now been decimated and he's in the hospital again. She is so enraged, she wants to take out every female that exists because her man got hurt. And she feels like nothing can be hers because everything's been taken from her partners, tag partners, and her man. Make her go nuts. Make her say, I am angry. I can't stand it. I'm going to destroy everything that's in front of me. No woman can be happy because I can't be happy until my man is better. I will take out every woman and be vicious about it. Why not? But that's just me. Now, I'm saying right now, next to how angry I was when I lost my audio, this show was different. There was no intro music. The matches were structured different. The vid packs were different. Seeing that they are going somewhere. Look, we got new people on the roster, at least for the little while. If they're only paid for a little while and then the taping's over and they're gone, at least we got them. Nick Aldis is here. They showed his intro video. Instead of him just simply walking in, they showed it. That means they're making him substantial. It means something. But until they get that damn camera work under control, this means absolutely nothing. If anybody from Impact does not know, if someone points them to this, I'll say, look, whoever is running Impact, can you not understand? You cannot keep doing this. It is ruining it for people at home. As a wrestling reviewer, I am being honest to you. I'm giving you honest input. Do not have such a narrow angle on your lenses. People are paying money to see you. If they're seeing this, how are they going to get any work done? Like myself, or how are people going to enjoy themselves? Come on. You cannot tell me that you're fine with it when the cameramen literally do not show what's in the ring. They're showing asses. Peace.